everybody. Welcome to Justice Serve Daily. Thank you for being on today and seeing us. And I'd like to welcome Miss Page. Hello.
Hi. How are you doing?
Doing good. And we are been talking about doing a video because there's a lot of videos that have been going on out there talking about a lot of stuff and a lot of guesswork and a lot of things like that. And, since our group of people, we may have not had a channel, but we definitely have had a following of this case in particular. And, videos and stuff like that, we thought that we would share and, let you guys be aware and stuff of it too. So, and I am going to go ahead and make sure I can share.
So we're going to be mostly talking about like the beginning in regards to the Delphi case, like what happened in the beginning.
Yes. So let's first start with showing just a few videos. And then after we show several of these videos, we're going to pull up our original timeline and stuff like that too, to kind of talk about it and go through it. But we're going to show you a few videos here and let you see. Let me click on this.
Okay, here we go.
Very scary situation right now, and I just want her home.
All right, an update now on our top story. Those two missing girls in Carroll County. The Sheriff's Office and members of the Delphi area community continue searching for those missing girls in the Delphi area, saying now they won't stop until those 13-year-olds are found. It's been nearly 24 hours, of course, since they were reported missing. 13-year-olds Liberty German, Abigail Williams, last seen around 1 o'clock Monday afternoon near the Monon High Bridge, that abandoned rail bridge just outside of Delphi. Now, News 18's Brad Oppenheim joins us now live from Carroll County, where that search continues at this hour. Brad?
Jeff, like you said, Liberty German and Abigail Williams were last seen yesterday afternoon when they were dropped off near that bridge. Now, they had made arrangements to be picked up by family members later that afternoon, but they never showed up. Now, a staging area has been set up at the Delphi Fire Department, and since I've been here, I've seen hundreds of people come in and out of this staging area. We are told that volunteers will be sent out in groups where they will comb the area in efforts to find these two girls. I was able to actually catch up with Abigail Williams' mother, Anna Williams, and she says she is amazed by the outpouring of support from the community. I also spoke with the Carroll County Sheriff, Tope Lesenby, and he says they are working with officials on getting an Amber Alert issued. Just in the last couple hours, I have been at the staging area. I've seen and spoke from volunteers that don't even live in Carroll County, including one man from West Lafayette who came over and joined the search. He said he has a teenage daughter himself and wanted to do what he could to make sure those girls make it home safe. Now, as we continue to learn new information, we will keep you updated online, and we'll have more information on News 18 at 5 and 6 tonight. For now, reporting live in Carroll County, Brad Oppenheim, News 18.
So from that video, just want to share that there was never an Amber Alert declared for the girls. So I want to make sure that everybody's aware of that. And remember, when we talk about, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure, let me go back to this. I'm going to share this too, just for we can talk about that a little bit here. And I'll go to entire screen. Sure, why not? La, 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 la. Sorry, guys. I'm still not the fastest at doing this, but. So when we talk about the very beginning and about the girls. I mean, people who are new following the case and, were not here right from the very beginning of stuff that was going on and what happened and why certain things happened and why other things didn't happen. And that's why when we go into this is the presentation, we did a full presentation on putting the puzzle together, and that was of everything that was gathered around that we got from all the news story clips and from probable cause affidavits and everything. So,
Yeah.
we know that in Ron Logan's probable cause and stuff. So when you see all that in here, that's why that's in there too, because lots of people wanted to go that direction and say that Ron Logan had something to do with it. So we dropped in even from that probable cause affidavit. So when we look at the timeline of when the girls are dropped off and what time that they arrive, we know that, they are sharing that they get dropped off and by their sister Kelsey, right? And then they sat here basically at 1:49, and then we go to the, I don't know why I'm going to call it infamous now, because I guess we have to go that direction of the way some people are putting it, that at 2:07 p.m., we know that there is posted on Snapchat at that time, Abby walking across the bridge.
Right.
And so I guess the big thing of that is that we want to share is the girls were on the bridge. There's no
Absolutely.
doubt that the girls were on the bridge. That is a fact. That is a photo that was not only found on Snapchat from being downloaded, but also found on Libby's phone,
Yeah.
because they're snapping and taking photos and stuff from it. And we know that not only did that happen, that they had that, but they do have the actual audio that was being recorded. And the audio itself that had recordings picked up from it, we know that they are discussing just girl stuff, because the parents get to hear what's going on.
Yeah.
And then they turn around and they are then even making a comment about somebody who's following them.
Yeah. A creepy guy.
So when we look at all of those, then we're like, okay, well, you can't, they know he's following them. They're asking the question if he's following them. He's asking all of that kind of stuff.
Yes.
There's no doubt that he's on the bridge because they recorded him following them.
Yeah.
They record him going to the end of the bridge, that when they finally get to the end of the bridge, he tells him to go down the hill. So, there's really not much question on that. I mean, I would think that those are kind of like automatic facts that we all knew has gone on.
Yes. Absolutely. It's why we're covering it. It's the beginning. It's what happened in the beginning. It's one of the most important parts. It's the facts that we have in place from the beginning. That's how we were able to create a timeline of what happened to them.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's show a couple of more of these beginning videos here for everybody. And I'll do it full screen. I think it looks better that way.
Yeah, it looks good.
I want to stop here just real quick. This was a very early 12:30 p.m. in the afternoon video on the Tuesday that their bodies were found. So they had not yet reported out to the news
Yeah.
that their bodies and stuff were found. So we're going to do this. Actually, there's another video I'll probably need to go backwards and show, but we'll go ahead and show this one.
Okay. Can't hear this one.
Can't hear it?
No. No, I can't hear this one.
Let me go back. Hold on.
Okay. Always likes to do this to us, huh?
Yeah. You know what I'll do? I'll do the stop sharing and then I'll bring it back up again just to make it a little safer. And that one is well, you know what? Actually, since I wanted to show this other one first, let me pull this other one up.
See, that was a sign.
It was. It said, don't do that. It said, do
Yeah, it
not
was like,
do that.
for God's sake, go back and play the other one first.
Right. Play the one you wanted to play that needs to be in there, which I will do. It knew it would bug me later. Okay, let me, okay. Because it would not be officially correctly in the timeline like I wanted it to be. Okay, let me make sure. Okay, that's the last one here. All right, sorry guys. We went through a lot of stuff to try to make sure we found out videos and stuff like that because we just want to make sure that you guys get to see everything that's out there. So
yeah.
All right.
Especially in the beginning, there's so much that people probably haven't seen or heard, especially if they came in and haven't really known this case for that long.
Right.
Yeah.
And I will say that if you didn't see today, there was just a video itself just on the helicopter footage from that day from WRTV6.
On the
It goes
14th.
through the full helicopter thing. But I did share. Now, what's creepy for me is I had watched that morning when they were trying to find the girls, and it was a silent video. It was on their Facebook page, and it was a silent video because they were just hovering over, and you can see the actual search helicopter underneath them. So it was just kind of going around and stuff like that too. And the difference is that the day that was shown live, it did go over and show, because it saw that the search helicopter towards the ending like was circling this particular area, and then it kind of glanced in the tree, kind of went down and focused in on the trees where you could see people standing in the trees. And the reason that's important is because when you watch the video now, after they were told that they found the bodies and the news chopper had to leave, they went back and they froze up some frames so that it doesn't focus in on it. It still runs because it went that long, but then they freeze frame it that you can't see when they had actually focused in on that. So
So JSD watched that in real time, like live as it was happening.
Yeah. And we, my thought at the time was, we're hoping that they find the girls, right? Well, maybe they'll find them here, or were they over here? I mean, the thought was not even crossing your mind that we would get a report. Of course, they do the normal, well, there was 2 bodies found, but we haven't confirmed that it's the girls. Well, oh my God. I mean, that was like an automatic assumption that you could do where they were looking for them. And then but you also weren't thinking that then they suddenly say they're investigating it as a homicide. I mean, you're like, what? I mean, it's like, oh my God, right? I mean, I remember it being just so scary and just blowing my mind totally. But this video that I'm going to show here, before we show the 12:30 noon. So let's discuss about the search. So the search on the 13th.
Yeah.
Remember that they come and they're going to pick up the girls, and it's around, 3:11-ish, whatever, that there is a phone call trying to go to Libby's phone. Remember, Libby is the only one who has a phone. Abby does not have a phone.
Thank you. Yes.
And the dad was the one who tried to reach out to say, I'm on my way, because he was going to get them around 3:30. And so he tries to call and call and call, doesn't pick up. He gets there to park. He calls again to try to get a hold of him. So that is when he sits here. He gets out of the car. He's walking around, and then he runs into flannel shirt guy.
Right.
Most people will know them as that, or as FG, which you'll see abbreviated on stuff, which I'm going to tell you that abbreviations kill me sometimes. I have a hard time. I mean, not
especially
when they do
some
it for
sort of, yeah, when some groups like only let you talk like in that kind of abbreviation code, and it's exhausting in the beginning, especially if you're just coming into the case.
Right. Well, yeah, if somebody uses abbreviations, you don't know who the heck they're talking about.
So yeah, it's helpful to kind of use actual names if you can, if you're allowed to.
So the flannel shirt guy is walking along the trail, and the dad asked, "Did you see the girls? Did you see two girls?" And he was like, "I saw a couple."
A couple.
Phrase he used was the word couple. And at the time, everybody is assuming that the word couple meant a man and woman, because of other people who was supposedly there.
Yeah, he meant a couple of girls. He saw a couple of girls, you know.
And those are the other ladies who were there, who took the photos around the bridge, and they got there after, a little bit afterwards. So he redirects dad to not go ahead and walk to go to the Monon High Bridge, because he doesn't think the girls are there. This guy said he didn't see him. There's other people over there. So he goes down the trail that goes parallel with it.
Yeah, that goes to the creek. Right.
And so he's going down that direction to go see if he finds them, walks that whole path, doesn't see them, ends up coming back and stuff from it. Yeah. So we know from that then he's trying to get a hold of other people, because he can't get a hold of the girls. He's calling his mom, Becky Patty, and they're getting a hold of Kelsey. Kelsey is the sister of Libby.
And Tara as well.
Right. And that Tara, she's the aunt.
Yeah.
And so they're making phone calls to say, hey, they're saying, can you try to call? Because they're not picking up my call. So they try to call, they're not getting a hold of it. And, after this time, it's getting near 4:00. And so then people are starting to show up. Family members are starting to show up there to kind of help look and get a hold. So the family and stuff, they're looking around, and we get to where it's now getting close to 5:30. And the reason I'm just pointing this purposely out right now is to help set up this video information. And that's because Indiana, most of Indiana, I'll put it that way, is on Eastern Standard Time. And when you're talking February, which is still cold weather and stuff out here, you don't have a lot of sunlight for very long. And one of the reasons that the parents said about that, they decided to call the police because it's starting to get dark. So, Paige can testify to this. I asked Alexa a question today, and she confirmed that at 6 p.m. it's sunset in February in Indiana. So when they finally, and remember, the police make them go out to the police station. They talk to the police. Other relatives are still looking around. And then you've got people who they're showing up there, and what are they doing? They're going all along these different trails. They're going along the trails, and they're using flashlights. So if you have ever been a camper, then you know how dark it gets out there. And you're trying to find something, right, in with a flashlight. You're just out there looking around in the pitch black. The other thing to remember is, because people are like, why didn't they find this? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they find this? Everybody's looking for live children,
Yeah.
live girls. They think either the girls got lost or maybe somebody got hurt and the phone died and then they couldn't get a hold of everybody, right? So they're not looking through leaves at the bottom of trees or for something that's hidden. That's not in their mindset. They're just looking for where the girls are.
Yeah.
So,
And they're also looking on one side, where the bridge side is at this moment, like in the beginning,
right,
until they
right,
had cause to look over the other side.
right. They're farther downstream on the other side of the water. And if you watch the video that we showed, you can see, I mean, when you're looking at it, it doesn't look like it's a really big area, but when you're looking overview of the helicopter footage, even though it's, considered a small area, it's pretty large. It is a pretty large covered tree area. The other thing to notice in the video is that all of those trees leaves are down.
Yeah, they're bare.
And so we're talking of just tens of thousands of leaves that are fallen on the ground. Obviously, nobody's out there raking that crap. It's just piles and piles of leaves on the ground itself. So even with the trees gathered together, if they're really close together, you still may not be able to see through. And then if something is on the ground, and as described that we hear that Libby had leaves and stuff covered on her, okay, then that's why you're not going to immediately see her. If you're out in the dark, you're with a flashlight, you think you're just looking for girls who are lost or hurt.
And you're over the other side.
Right. And completely on the other different side.
Yeah.
So we're going basically then from that standpoint, they're going up to midnight. Okay. So midnight, and we'll clarify this too. At midnight, the police stop the search because there is a lot of people in the community, because think of all the family there. There's a lot of people in the community that hear that these girls are missing and they're coming out to try to help. And so the police are concerned that somebody's going to get hurt, right? They're not going to know how far down they can fall off of something. They don't know where, the land is, totally, huge
safe
embankment, falling in the water, any kind of thing. They don't want anybody else hurt, and they don't want anybody else distracted.
The temperature drops like at night, especially if it's cold in Indiana. Usually in the nighttime it's going to drop even more. So also that is a factor, like the elements. They can't keep everyone safe. Right.
So the police call off that the search at 12 noon. I'm sorry, at midnight. I'm looking at 12 and I'm saying midnight. At midnight on Monday. Okay. So the problem is that not everybody goes home. Those family members and stuff like that are still trying to look. Now, there are news things and news stories and all kinds of stuff that shows people walking around with flashlights, people on some people that were on ATVs, some people that were looking around and stuff. Well, at midnight, when that goes on, some of the families still looking, and they talk about that they kind of kept looking, and then the family eventually
Yeah.
went home, slept for a few hours, and then came back that morning, which is where they gathered everybody at the fire station to coordinate all of these people who were going to
Yeah.
look.
And
So,
sorry,
no,
JST.
go ahead, go ahead.
Like during those hours, you know, like when the family went home, that kind of thing, when law enforcement kind of stopped, there was multiple people, just volunteers, just searching, who they're even on camera saying, you know, they're not going to sleep, they're not going to eat, they don't care, they're not going to stop until they find them. So I think it's important to note that there were still people out there at every single hour in that evening on the 13th up until the 14th.
Right. And this video, the reason that I went through that very long, but trying to help explanation for, and I know we'll do a little back and forth, so please forgive us for that, but we're trying to provide what we can and fit these other clips and stuff in here. The reason that I share that with you is because there were news stations that stayed out there. And the news stations would tell you that they stayed out there and they were doing reports in the pitch black near the trail entry area. And they were doing this, talking about how the searches stopped, it was called off, they're going to regain in the morning. Some of them are telling you, we were here all night, we stayed all night, you know, they're going to resume in the morning.
Yeah.
This is a news thing we're going to show you right now that is for 4 a.m. in the morning with WTHR channel 13. And let me know, guys, if you cannot hear this. So let's see, make sure it goes through.
It is 4:02 here, and there are still
Oh,
plenty of
good.
questions this morning in the small town of Delphi.
Last night, as we mentioned, police served that search warrant at a home on Bicycle Bridge Road near the Wabash River. You know, what we can tell you this morning, this all started on Monday when the parents of these two young girls reported them missing.
Sure, and of course, there have been so many questions, new information. Matt McCutcheon there doing some digging for us this morning. He is live with the reason investigators went to that house in the first place. Good morning, Matt.
JST?
Yeah.
Ben and Julia, good
This is the
morning.
correct
This wraps
video.
up a week of a little bit of information trickling out slowly here in this case, but still the big question remains about
it?
who killed those girls
Is
and
it what?
why. We
I
know
don't think
very
it's the
little
right
information
video.
about what
It's
happened
talking
just
about
at
the
this home
search
in rural
in
Delphi.
Bicycle
Original
Bridge Road.
investigators came here around 7 o'clock last night, and there were several of them. Video shows the scene
It's
as
the wrong
police, not
interview.
just from the city and the
Okay.
county here, but also Indiana
I
State
think.
Police, even the FBI
Yeah.
were told, making the
I
scene
don't think
here
it's the one
last
you
night
wanted to
as they
show.
started
I
that
think it's the one you
investigation
wanted to
into
show
the
is
home.
on
At this
early
hour,
hours of the
there is no
14th,
word
right?
on the arrests in this case.
Yes.
Police did spend
Yeah,
several
this is
hours
the
here. We
search, I
do
think, a
know
week
police
later.
collect.
That's weird. Delphi 4 a.m. Hold on. That's
We've got
weird.
so many Delphi videos
We
that,
do. We can't even begin to tell you how many clips we have.
and they are all organized, but my gosh.
Yes, yes. Okay. Well, let's go to this one. Maybe as I continue to go through and we'll find this one. Let's go to the next one. But my point is that the news was still there at 4 a.m. because there were several stations that stayed out there and then played the video. Sorry about
Yeah.
that, guys.
And you can see, you know, the flashlights in the dark in the woods, like actively searching at that time, like numerous people out there.
All right, let's go to this one. All right. We'll see if this one, and you guys can let me know if this one isn't sounding off for you. Yep, the bigger screen.
Where are Libby and Abby? These two teen girls have not been spotted in nearly 24 hours. That's where we're starting today at 12:30, the ongoing search for Libby German and Abby Williams. This story is unfolding right now in Delphi. That's in Carroll County, about 20 minutes northeast of Lafayette. Now, I want to show you the view from Google Earth. The girls were last seen near an abandoned bridge known as the Monon High Bridge, just outside Delphi. The area, as you see, is heavily wooded, and there's a creek running through it. Rich Van Wyk joins us live from the command center in Delphi. Rich, you've been talking with people out there. What's the latest there?
Well, the sheriff just briefed us a little while ago. He gave us details on the search, just how many people are involved. The fire department is now the command center for an exhaustive search that's covering a great swath of the county. More volunteer searchers are arriving here. They're ready and willing and able to start relieving some of the people who have been searching most of the morning in some of the wooded areas. From what we've heard and from what we've seen, there are probably about 200 civilian volunteers working with police, firemen, and others. They're searching woods, streams, fields, and buildings. The area, according to the sheriff, covers 20 to 25 square miles. Some of those areas, it's tough going. There are steep.
Oh, the sound has stopped.
No, it's
We've
there.
apparently lost our
Oh,
connection with Rich Van
got
Wyck,
it.
but the video that you're seeing here gives you an idea of how rugged this particular area is. The vantage point that's more than 200 people right now are searching for these two girls. Again, these two girls have been missing since yesterday about 1 o'clock. And you can again see this abandoned bridge here leading through Carroll County and heavily wooded area. And we talked to a family member about what they think.
I see it's a small community that everybody pulls together. It's really heart-wrenching, you know what I mean, to see that. It's very touching, very moving.
You have trouble looking over there.
Yes, I do.
Because
it's a rough time right now I'm going through.
Our hearts go out to the families as this search continues there in Carroll County. We're covering this story on WTHR.com. We've got a lot of information there. You can see pictures of the girls, the search area, all on WTHR.com. And of course, our coverage continues throughout the day on our website.
We switched to Liberty Mutual. And
so that's just, again, right before we get word that they are, that they have found the bodies that day.
Yeah.
And it always gives me creeps when I see somebody on that bridge.
I know. I was just going to say, it never gets easier to kind of see the area and like see the hope in the beginning and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one.
This is breaking news from Channel 13
There's
Eyewitness
still
News.
people out looking, but it has been scaled back. Let me just put it that way.
After nearly a day of searching, a small town community's hope turns to heartbreak. The search for two missing 13-year-old girls leads police to two bodies.
Here's the latest. Police have not yet identified the bodies as those of Libby German and Abby Williams. The girls disappeared after going hiking yesterday afternoon. But we do know foul play is suspected.
Yeah, we've been in Delphi all night and all day following the search and the investigation. Our crews are talking with the community about their support and their prayers, and to the teen school as they help the girls' classmates and teachers as they wait for more news.
Eyewitness News anchor John Stair joins us live in Carroll County tonight, where a prayer service will start there within the hour. John.
Yeah, that service will begin at about 7 o'clock at the Delphi United Methodist Church. The church is opening its doors to the community for support after what has been a very difficult 24 hours here. Now, I want to show you the area that we're talking about where the search took place today. Drone Cam 13 flew over the rural area where 13-year-old Abby Williams and Libby German went missing yesterday afternoon. They were last seen near an abandoned railroad bridge and where family members say they had gone hiking. Eyewitness News reporter Rich Van Wyck joins me now here with what happened in the hours after they vanished and what police were saying about all of this tonight.
John, this was the search center. This is where they coordinated a search involving hundreds of people, perhaps the entire community in some way. They started out with lots of hope. It ended with tears this afternoon. About 200 volunteers. They worked with firemen, volunteer firemen, police officers, and others searching a 20-square-mile area of the county. They concentrated on the last known whereabouts of the teenagers. A Snapchat picture posted early yesterday afternoon put the pair on that abandoned Monontal Bridge. About 24 hours later, searchers found two bodies about 3/4 of a mile upstream from that bridge. They were along the banks of the Deer Creek in a remote area most hikers and walkers wouldn't go into.
I just want to pause it. They were on the bank. You heard them say it.
In a location where most hikers and people wouldn't go to.
Right. I'm going to go back just a little smidge here and redo that play here.
Or along the banks of the Deer Creek in a remote area most hikers and walkers wouldn't go into.
We are investigating this as a crime scene. We suspect foul play. We have not made positive identification of the two bodies.
It's been a long several hours. It's played tremendously on the emotions of the community.
Police aren't releasing the gender of the victims. However, the search for the two missing teens, although not officially called off, has been significantly scaled back. Delphi County and state police are working on this, John. They're getting help from the FBI. They're at the crime scene. They'll be focusing on that through the night. We await tomorrow morning's autopsy report to perhaps confirm identities and learn more about this mystery that's beginning to haunt this community.
Yeah, around 40 law enforcement personnel out there. And you know, when kids are involved, it's awfully tough.
People take it personally.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Rich Van Wyk tonight. Now,
so you have the information that the FBI is already there. The FBI is already involved. They were already involved from the very beginning. The office for the FBI is in Indianapolis. It's not that far. It was asked for them to be involved when the girls were missing. And so you hear them already say that the FBI is already there. So right now we have the local police helping. You have the DNR officers helping. You have firefighters helping. You have the FBI helping in part of the search and being part there. So there's a lot of people who are already engaged and participating in one, finding the girls, and then obviously the continuation of the investigation. The problem that they had, that I feel, in my opinion, of what they could have had, is because remember that on day 2, you had at like 7:30 in the morning, you had, they said, approximately 200 volunteers helped out through the day, changing shifts, and they were all out there, you know, walking around and looking all over the place and hiking up different trails and stuff like that. Why does that matter? It matters because then when you're out there and you're trying to collect anything and connect anything, right? DNA, any type of stuff that anybody could have dropped. So, you know, let's do an example. One of your volunteers smoked cigarettes. Guy decides to smoke a cigarette. Sorry, guys, I'm going to make it a guy. A guy starts smoking a cigarette. He sits here and then he drops the cigarette. Okay, well, how do you know whose cigarette that is? Right?
Yeah.
You just had a bunch of people walking around in that particular area. And, you know, you've got to now figure out, you know, obviously they blocked off the area where the girls were found. There is tape, which that's the other thing. I'll pull that up too, now that I think about that as well. For the crime scene tape that went up around trees. Let me see here. There's the graphic for that. And let me go back. Maybe I will. I'll try.
If it lets you.
Yes, if it'll let me do it. I'll just go to entire screen. Clickety click, click, click. Okay, I'm going to let it do that for me. And it's not what I want. Where did you go? Here we go. So, oh, wait. Doing so while under a Strike puts you at risk of termination
What?
for ban evaluation. No, I was not reading, Jinx. Thank you. To inform you that your channel has been issued a strike for violating our community guidelines.
What? Since when?
Right. I've never talked about this case and had that. Sounds like a reported one, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
What?
Yeah, that's okay. We'll continue till they shut us down.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah. So, this is the image from the news that showed the area in which the bodies were located. So I just point this out because obviously it's not near any water or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know, Jinx, but I've used the clips from them before. They're short. They're their own short clips, so that's all right. No big whoop. Okay, stop sharing that. Wow. You know, I think that's funny when they have the stuff like that because for me,
You're sharing facts
and well,
and
we're
like
sharing
them.
news. I'm
Yeah.
not like redoing the news. I'm just sharing their actual clip from in there. And that's weird
And
because
you have done always.
yeah, I've always used it. And I do it because it helps provide the evidence.
Yes, the backup for what you're saying.
Right. Right.
So sorry if we're doing it correctly.
Yeah.
Sorry for that.
So I'm going to keep doing it. And hey, if I get shut down, I love you. Appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe. And thank you for being here during my first possible strike.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
So,
let's get back to it. What did
yeah.
you want to talk about next?
Well, let's go back to the, let me go back to the PowerPoint here. Oops. Nope, that's what I want. That's crazy.
I know.
I find it amusing.
Me too. That's why I'm kind of giggling. I'm sorry. What the hell?
So as we go, and we're going to just kind of review the actual slides and stuff like that. So we know that from all of the information and stuff like that, that is at 2:13 p.m. that Libby's phone recorded the video of Bridge Guy approaching them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that in that video, it is heard that one of the girls says gun. And that at the end of that video is when the Bridge Guy is then heard down the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was the first part that was released, was the down the hill. And then later we get the additional piece, which says guys down the hill. So, and at that time, after that particular amount of time at 2:13, that's exactly what, that anybody has seen, either the girls or that Bridge Guy at all.
Yeah.
So, talks about the witnesses. We had stuff that there was vehicles and stuff that were seen at different times and stuff on that day. Here's the 3:14 p.m. about the girls fixing to be picked up. And they couldn't be found. Then we have the 3:57 edition that we hear about of the muddy and bloody person on walking down the street.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have this other piece. It's just Ron Logan. Then we have the other piece where the sheriff's department is then contacted at the 5:30 p.m. So
Yeah.
I think when you this also note that the last successful ping of the cellular phone from AT&T supposedly was at, or allegedly is supposed to be at 5:30 p.m.
Yeah.
And so you've got all of that. You've got the information that's out there about, I think that's just kind of questioning, some stuff as far as, do we think that the girls were on the bridge? Were they not on the bridge? They didn't go in the water. They, whatever. There, in my mind, there is no question that the girls were on the bridge. The girls took photo to show that Abby's on the bridge. We know Bridge Guy was on the bridge.
Yeah.
And we know that he told them to go down the hill. We know that when they crossed the water, when the searchers were in the water, they found a shoe and underwear. We did not know that at the beginning. That was later on that came out. Definitely knew about the shoe, underwear. Yes, there's stuff about possible couple other things, but the shoe and the underwear we knew about. And that as we listened in the information for the video for Channel 6 News on Facebook, if you watch that, that whole Channel 6 News video, I play that Kelsey is stating that while they're searching, her grid that she has was over there in the bridge area. When they sit here and they get closer back towards the bridge, she hears that they found a shoe. They radio to her because they're trying to ask her what shoes were being worn by the girls. And they describe it. She said she knew it was theirs. It was a shoe. And then she said, then later, all of a sudden, a searcher found the bodies. So the shoe and where the placement of the shoe in the water is where in there. Now, I don't know how they found the shoe. Stuck in the ground. You know what I mean? Like stuck in the base of the water, or,
alongside the creek. Like, we don't
know.
know. In a bush. Like,
Right. But that
anywhere.
shoe and the placement of where they find the shoe and they find the underwear is when suddenly they're going and looking very closely to right there. And then that's when the searchers end up finding that the girls' bodies and stuff are there. So in my opinion, I just don't think there's any doubt that the girls are on the bridge.
No.
So with all of that, I guess that's kind of the stuff from being frustrating, because I don't want to take away with what information that we do have and that is out there. And then what information is still out there that does need to be discovered, that the police do need information on. And I just don't think the bridge and the girls and the water are part of information that is still need to be known.
Yeah, like people are focusing on things that have already been, kind of proven, covered, timeline has been created in regards to those kind of things. And, we have it in documents like the probable cause and that kind of stuff where it does state these certain things as fact. So, like you said, we need to just state the facts of the timeline. So any kind of gaps or little bits of the puzzle that need to be discovered by people and law enforcement, they're able to do that because they just have the facts to go from, and not, people just using speculative theories on these kind of things instead of just looking into the facts.
Right. And as we're looking at, kind of these pieces that we did before, the 11:45 p.m. is when, Sheriff Lesenby is, then turns around and tells the news that the reason that they're calling off the search and stuff from them is because they did not believe that the girls were in imminent danger.
Yes.
And told everybody that they were going to redo or resume in the morning. So, would have it made a difference? No, the girls are murdered on the 13th. That wouldn't have made a difference in there. But
no,
to call it and that he doesn't know, in my opinion, is part of the most frustrating thing when people have missing children. Because it's kind of like the assumption was, oh, they went over to somebody's house, or maybe they ran away, or maybe whatever.
Yeah. That's what the families even state in, beginning sort of interviews, is that people thought that the girls had just gone off to a friend's house and they were drinking or they were with boys. And the family said, if you knew the girls, that's nothing that they would ever do.
Right.
So it's that kind of assumption, like you said, that in these kind of cases that everyone rolls their eyes when a law enforcement person makes that kind of assumption.
And that explains to you why that family members, even though the police were like, hey, everybody go home, that there's family members who kept looking. Of course they did. If it was your kids, you would keep looking. That's just an automatic thing.
And also, like, the certain family members who did leave, like, that's understandable also, because you can't even imagine the kind of draining that would have on you anyway, as a person, as a parent, as a guardian, as whatever, as a family member. So, they were probably told by others, out of love and care, to go home and rest for a little while until they heard something new, because there were so many people there, they wouldn't stop searching, and they would tell them if anything happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, we know that morning of the Tuesday, that's when they went to ask to search on Ron Logan's property. You got to remember, they went out there again. They don't know what they're looking for, what, they're thinking the girls are, possibly lost or hidden. And obviously Leslie's saying, oh, I think they're somewhere else. I don't think they're in imminent danger. So they go and they're finally going to the property owners' properties that are right there. As you can see in the chopper video that we had, it shows that these...
Is there 3 main properties around or more? I can't remember.
Right. There are 3 major properties that butt right up against that area. Yeah. And so that's when it's asked for permission that morning, when the police directly go, hey, we're going to look, we're going to look on your property and stuff, because now they're searching the other side, right? They didn't search that side before. And now, they're going to also have the people going through the water and doing all that kind of stuff. So, so then you've got that they have the crews and stuff going out, they break down the grids, they have everybody there. And then, basically then not till 12:17 p.m., they're found. And then it is basically announced that they found bodies at 12:45. And then that's when the state police officer, Riley, and Carroll County Sheriff Lesenby, and the police sheriff Mullins, that's when they do that conference all together, that they were found, while they were searching. And, again, they're saying they didn't officially identify, but if you're looking for your kids and suddenly they find 2 of them,
yeah. And it's a day after, they were aware what the girls look like, what they had on, that kind of thing.
So, and beyond that, so on by Wednesday afternoon, they have basically, identified that it is the girls. And that same day, so that's evening. So you got to think about this. This is what they find on the phone. It is on the phone. So when they found the girls, they found the phone. The phone was not missing. There was only one phone. It was only Libby's phone. Abby did not have a phone. And on the phone, so at 6:50 p.m. on Wednesday, the day after they find the bodies, that is when they release a photo.
Yes.
And now, mind you, at the time, they're just stating, hey, there's this man. We think he may have information. He may have seen something, right? And so they're not calling him a suspect or whatever, but they want to speak to this guy.
And they're not telling us how they got that image.
Right. They didn't say where it came from or whatnot, but we know now that they had got it from Libby's phone.
Yeah.
And so then it's key to pick up on this. Indiana State Police announced that they want to speak with the man pictured or anyone parked in the lot near the bridge about what they may have saw. So they're asking about that. So now there's search warrants and stuff like that. We know one of the interviews and stuff is with them, talking about talking with Ron Logan. I mean, Ron Logan got interviewed by every major news station that was there in shock, talking how he was in shock and stuff about the bodies and stuff being found there. And, you're watching that. So here he talked about it's on the edge of his property. He's standing there wearing a jacket and a hat. Lots of people, if you don't remember that he's there and lives there, you saw him then.
That's why he was looked at by so many people as well.
Oh, absolutely. There's no way you wouldn't. I mean, to be honest, there's no way you would not turn him in, because
and they were found on his property. So of course you're going to look into it.
Right. Absolutely. So, I think part of the stuff that we wanted to kind of look at and readdress was just to look at these first couple of days, the first part of the missing part. If you can go and watch our Putting the Puzzle Pieces Together. We go through that full description of everything and stuff too, of the full timeline with all of it pulled together.
Yeah.
But I think we were really trying to address some issues that were going on.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm a little scared now here. I have some
Don't be scared.
I'm just looking at some clips of, well, the other clips I had were clips that are Dr. Phil clips, right? They're the short.
Oh God.
So
that's the one you probably shouldn't show.
Right. Yeah, that one's kind of probably not a good not a good one. Dr. Phil likes to get everybody if you show something like that. And usually I don't, right? I usually don't have that. Oops, sorry. But
yeah, this usually doesn't happen. So
no, not at all.
Caught off guard. So yeah.
Right. So hold on. I am gonna show this one, and this one I'll have let me stop this here and go forward because I want to show it, but I don't want to show too much. Let's see here. I think it's right here. Maybe? No.
Let's pray.
No kidding. The YouTube people will come get me.
Everybody pray, guys.
I think it's just interesting because there's just a lot of people that get zinged on stuff for YouTube. And that's like, I will tell you here, I am an over 18 show, and I do not worry about using all these, you know, if it's murder, I say murder. If it's, you know, if it's,
CSAM, you say
yeah, if
CSAM.
it's, I mean, heck, at least I say CSAM. I mean, good Lord.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I am going to show you, this is from Kendall Ray's Delphi Murders with Kelsey German. She's got a huge show and stuff in there. We'll share that link. But I do want to show you this particular clip. And let's see here. Make sure I'm showing the right one. Yeah. Right? Yes.
I love how you talk to yourself.
I do talk to myself, and I will let you do. Ask them. You'll hear about that in there. But all right, guys, let me show you this one. And if I got knocked out, you know why.
The private drive, somebody yelled up the hill that they'd found a shoe. And knowing that I dropped the girls off and I remembered what they were wearing, I knew exactly what shoes my sister and Abby were both wearing. So as soon as they yelled up what type of shoe it was, I knew exactly whose it was. It wasn't long after they told us that they'd found the shoe that a searcher found the bodies of the girls.
The girls' bodies were found about a half mile from the bridge and were also found on the edge of a private property line.
I was totally defeated. That morning, I had actually packed a bag with a granola bars and a blanket, and then hoping that the girls would need them. They would be so happy to have a granola bar after being outside all night. So
I wanted to show that because that is the clip we talked about. I played the verbal part of that during when we were showing the video of the search going on. And, you know, yeah, I think it's just important to really talk about, you know, when they were going, when the search was, what's in there, you know, what's happened. Because I just think there's been a lot of questions and a lot of stuff that's going on out there. So, you know, I guess, Paige, is there something else that you can think of that we didn't address? I'm going through our little list here of stuff too.
Oh, I just wanted to kind of touch on, you know, when the girls were dropped off back in the beginning, obviously on the 13th. People kind of say that they're not entirely sure of the time they were dropped off, and you know, people possibly didn't even see them being dropped off, that kind of thing. But I just wanted to touch on the fact that we do actually know that that is a fact now, that Kelsey did drive the girls to the Mia's, you know, farm parking spot, and it was about 1:38 p.m. I think. And we know that's fact because it was captured on CCTV at the Hoosier Harvest Store. So that confirms that in the beginning of the timeline. As well, which I think is really important to touch on. With, like you said, there's some people who don't really know exact facts in the beginning, and it is important to state them.
Right.
Yeah.
And as you guys, you know, have any questions or anything in there, please feel free to put any out there, or any comments and stuff that I can read out for you here, because, you know, we're trying to clear up anything, or at least what stuff that we know. And, you know, if we don't know, or I haven't seen info on it, or I haven't seen anything about it, I'm going to straight out tell you, you know, I don't have a clue, or the information's, you know, not out there. We don't try to say that we have something, even if we've, you know, especially if we've only seen it maybe one place, and we can't, you know, really verify if something is correct or not correct. And you know, that's the that's the important facts of it. I think that, you know, the other stuff that's going on, you know, my God, my biggest worry would be, you know, are we giving the defense team any information that they could turn around and be like, see, this was fake, or this isn't true, or, you know, this maybe
Yeah.
happened, you know,
That's the
whatever.
opposite of what we're trying to do. I mean,
Yeah.
all we're trying to do is state the facts, which I think everybody should do. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely be somebody that questions information, do your own research, use your own logic in absolutely anything that you're told that is the truth, um, and draw your own conclusions from that. But these are the facts, and this is what you need to go from in order to kind of understand what happened.
Yeah. I mean, and when we were sitting here, I mean, like I've said a million times before, our group met. I mean, none of us, you know, I'm the only one that was out of Indiana. You know, everybody else is all across the
We're very
U.S.
lucky
except
to
for
have found
Paige.
you.
Except Paige is over the pond, and you know, but
Yes.
we all met because of the case of Delphi and caring about the Delphi case, um
Yeah.
and this case bothered me. Just, you know, like I said, if you're a mom and these girls are missing and then they suddenly you're watching this stuff and then find out that they're murdered, you're like, oh my God, who would do this? How did
Yeah.
this happen? You know,
And for
how?
me, it was more on the fact that I remember being a 13-year-old, 14-year-old girl with my friends, you know, exploring places, probably actually doing things I shouldn't have done. And all these girls did was take a walk together on a day off of school, you know.
Right.
And I think anybody can relate to that feeling that something like this could have happened to you, and it didn't. It happened to them. So it's always been something that kind of just draws you in, I think. It's unbelievable.
And oh, this reminds me too, also to confirm out there, the girls were also off from school on Friday. They were
Yes,
off
thank you for that.
Friday and that Monday. Again, in
Yes, so
Indiana, there are snow days that if you're out of school because all this like COVID learning from home stuff wasn't ever set up. So when
yes,
you were, you know, if you were out from school on winter makeup days, they would continue those days on. If you didn't take them, then you would end up with days off. And so, you know, famously, they turn around and they ended up giving a 4-day weekend,
yeah,
obviously here
so
during Valentine's Day.
they had the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the Monday off from school. So Saturday, Sunday is the weekend, but they had the Friday and the Monday off as well. And obviously, Monday was the 13th when this all started.
Right, right. So
Yeah.
they did have both of those days off. I do want to bring up something, and I know I'll probably bring it up tomorrow because we are going to talk about what Keegan Klein's sentencing is for his CSAM, and there's some questions that we have in there. But one thing I do want to bring up that is kind of a new piece, um, and some of you may, I always forget that, you know, if there's new people, so forgive me when I assume that some people know certain things or don't know certain things, and I try to get better at that. So as you may know or may not know, just before, a week before that they went to the park, Libby had asked for her phone to be reset, completely
Yeah.
reset. And it was asked, why would she, you know, why does she want to do that? She's going to lose everything on the phone. And she was basically like, well, you know, I don't care, you know, can you redo it? So basically, factory setting. There can be two reasons for that. And this is from my thought process of that the Anthony Shots profile trying to speak to her and things at the time, which obviously, one, if somebody is going to meet you and they've been communicating with you, they will instruct the girls to delete stuff off their phone for
Mm-hmm.
that it can't be found. And
Yes.
the second, so if you know, that could have been an ask from there, and maybe she's meeting again. Remember that she doesn't think she's meeting, you know, she thinks she's meeting a teenage boy, if that was the scenario, right? If that's the scenario.
Yes. Allegedly.
Allegedly. So let me bring up another thought though that came to mind. So I know a lot of people have watched the oh gosh, help me remember what they call it. What is it? Hidden documentary, or what is it called? Something documentary.
Oh, the new one by Hannah Shakespeare, right?
Right.
The
And
Lost documentary.
the Lost documentary, and I know that Fig Solves shared that documentary out there.
Yes.
There was a piece, there was a clip of it that they are talking to, and that she is talking to a young man who has sharing with everybody in there that he knew that she was being bothered by somebody, Libby, somebody on her phone. And she was trying to communicate to get this kid's help. And he was saying he was busy playing video games and stuff, and he just wasn't paying attention. So later on, he takes a look and stuff at it, and he says, "Hey, do you need this still help with that?" And she's like, "No, I've got that already taken care of." Now, this information and that communication from Libby to that young man was given to the police because he shared that image of that communication with Libby and stuff. They took photos of it, and it was given to the police officers. And he did say, though, that he thought it was maybe around January that happened. So I'm going to throw this other possibility, this other scenario out there that allegedly could have happened as well. So what if this person who is using the Anthony Shots profile is communicating with her, and again, they are really like harassing her, right? These people, they try to get, photos and things like that, and all kinds of stuff, and very much stay on top and bug people to try to get this info
Yeah,
from girls.
pressure.
So the other thing is, what if she's done with this? She's done with this person harass her, and she's ready to go tell somebody that she keeps getting this. And he said the age of 19 is what kid said, which is the same age of what Anthony Shots profile was saying he was. So what if she sits here and she's not communicating back with the person, and the person keeps trying to message her and do all this kind of stuff, and now somebody is worried that she is going to go turn in the Anthony Shots profile. She's going to go turn in who she thinks is Anthony Shots, bugging her, harassing her, asking her for stuff.
Or she's just going to tell someone that this weird 19-year-old keeps messaging me and asking me this and that and wants to meet me. And, it could have been like the fact that she maybe would actually tell her sister or somebody close to her what's going on. It might not even been the case that she knew who the actual Anthony Shots was, or that she figured out that it wasn't who he said he was. She might not have even figured that out, which I don't think that she did.
Right.
But yeah, there was a reason why I think that she maybe stopped communicating with him, like you said. Something kind of caused that, yeah.
So you got to think then somebody who's using the Anthony Shots profile is going to be worried that they're going to be outed, for using the Anthony Shots profile, that they're going to be outed for looking at CSAM, requesting CSAM, getting CSAM. So
yeah, and we know there could possibly be more than one person behind that account, like in previous documents that we've seen and read.
Right.
So
that's another thought on that. So, again, there could be, another reasoning for that of you don't want to be outed. You don't want information and stuff outed about that for somebody that you're bugging and stuff from it. Because you got to think, if this was a random act, then, why didn't he do something to the first teenage girls that he saw? He very specifically was making sure to walk down that trail and to get to that bridge.
imagine the other girls in the area that he was having maybe similar conversations with. Why weren't they targeted? You know, if that was the situation, why Libby?
Right. Absolutely.
That's a very important question.
Well, I appreciate you guys being here and letting us kind of go through
Our
some of the
thoughts.
videos. Yes. Obviously, it must have been a just wonderful video to get turned in, right? To get blasted like that, but never had that happen before.
That means too much truth was being spoken.
I guess so. But I mean, that's kind of the sources from the news were, that's what sources and stuff between the news or legal documents or, something like that
Yes,
of
it's
any type
literally
of stuff.
straight
So,
straight
yeah.
from the horse's mouth.
Yes, absolutely. I do want to shout out here. Thank you to Mama Bear and Grizmatically Clever. He's here.
And Cal?
Go subscribe to Grizz. And hello, Dre. Thank you, Dre, for being here. And Jinx. Jinx is wonderful at all times. And Gwen, thank you for being here. And Kelt. And
Yeah,
sorry,
hi
going back,
guys.
we're trying to catch everybody up over here.
And Callie was in here.
Yeah, I did. I saw Callie. And
Yeah.
you know what? And when I talk about facts and stuff like that, I will say that, one, I know that I watched Gray Hughes a lot when he was doing stuff and things from it. And I know I watched Callie's channel was True Crime Bloke at the time, but
And
now it
that's
is The Divided
another
Kingdom.
it's
Yes.
another platform where we all kind of came together, was on True Crime Bloke.
Yes.
So shout out
Yep.
to him for that.
And Kid Kitty was here. And yeah, wow, there's a lot of people dropping by, which is wonderful. So yes, it was.
So
And
we're gonna
he
get
asked, he goes,
together.
"Oh, is that Paige speaking?" It's like, yes, it is. It is Paige speaking.
I see that now.
Yep. So
He's
yeah,
never heard my voice.
that's hilarious. You're like, what?
I know.
So, but we appreciate everybody being here, and
So we'll get back together tomorrow, right?
yeah, we're gonna try to get back together tomorrow after the charges and stuff are down. We have some questions about some charges of why they haven't shown up for Keegan Klein, and really feel like there is, a lot that are still going to be dropping in and coming out very, very soon. So, especially with his girlfriend that he was with at the time when he got arrested, and her age, and him talking to her at the same time that Libby would have been communicated with, and that she was also underage at the time, and just some interesting information. So, but anyway, we appreciate you guys. Paige, thank you for jumping up here. And
thank you for having me.
yes, I love it, for we can kind of discuss through it, and we were trying to get caught up, and lots of us have been catching this, catching that, and trying to stay healthy from everything, but that's been a little difficult lately. So
we all keep getting sick. Yeah.
Yes. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you again, Paige. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thanks,
Please
everyone.
hit that like button. Please hit subscribe. We are doing
And share.
Yes, and our next drawing for when we hit 750, which we decided to do last time. So when we hit 750, we're going to do that as well. And we appreciate you. And thank you again, Paige. And
thank you.
she'll be on tomorrow with me. Don't worry about that. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, I'll be here.
All right, wonderful. All right,
bye guys.
Bye. And I want to just let everybody know that it means a lot to me of you coming here and you subscribing and letting us be able to talk to you about stuff. And thank you for always making sure that justice is served daily. Thank you, guys.